with, she likes to, how do I say this, stand out online with all of her TikToks and Reels and everything that she's got going on. Miss Virginia Kerr, how's it going today?
It's going well. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So the age that we're in, content creation and things like that, you've had over, 20 years in TV and video. What would you say has been one of the biggest adversities you had to get into when it comes down to video and content creation?
Not focusing on the results of the video and focusing on the person that I'm trying to help with the video. And that's an ongoing struggle.
Okay, so when you say ongoing struggle and things like that, how did you use it to pivot to success? Because I feel like there's so many people when it comes down to, getting into this digital content creation world of video, audio per se, they have those certain pitfalls, but they don't know how to identify those root causes. So what are some of the things that you could speak to the audience about?
When you first start on a video, it's nerve-wracking because the focus is on you. You've never done it before. You feel awkward. You're not sure what to say. You don't want to look like a buffoon. And you have to realize that everybody goes through that awkward stage, and you have to start bad to get better. But if you can immediately, even in the awkward stage, focus on who you're helping, then a few things happen. First of all, the focus shifts from you to the person. Second of all, you're more likely, hopefully, to see the camera as a person. So now you're going to connect with that person. And then if you are focusing on someone, then the pressure's off to impress thousands of people. You really are there to help one person. And if you do that, you've won the day. So that's the first part. Then when you get into all of these platforms and you hear all these coaches and they're constantly talking about how they went from X amount of followers to this amount of followers with their Reels or their TikToks, and they just keep focusing on the views and the viral videos and the followers, that is so unhealthy because there are a lot of people who have a lot of followers who aren't making any money. And you don't have to have a ton of followers to make a huge difference and make a living online. And if you only focus on the followers and the views, it's not going to be fun. You're going to burn out. You're going to most likely chase the views and try to perform and post for the algorithm and not a person. And that's not what we're here for, but also that's going to water down who you are. And the only way you're going to stand out is by going all in on who you are. And that might not mean that you have a bunch of viral videos.
I love how you say everything you just said there. It's like a mini masterclass, I like to call it, and things like that. You'd speak a lot about the viral video aspect. And so many people want that viral moment because they're putting out all this content. You have on your TikTok is what, about almost close to 1 million followers you're almost sitting at. How did you do that for yourself? And when did you start seeing the success and the traction of viral for yourself?
Well, that's my second TikTok account. And my first TikTok account, I have a lot of viral videos, meaning multi-million views on one video. Viral videos is different for everybody. It depends on how many views you normally get. I didn't make a dime on that first TikTok account. And that was where I played. That's where I figured out what I wanted to be known for and how I could be different. I figured out how to work TikTok, how the trends work, how to edit on TikTok and off TikTok. Then when I decided to open up the second account and make it an educational account, I went through the awkward phase on that too. I started off by pointing at text bubbles, not using my real voice. I started off by just sitting there talking, not really sure how to keep someone's attention for a full 15 to 30 seconds because I was so used to doing the trends and my character skit reels on the other one. And I started to really see what people cared about and what they didn't care about. So I did go viral on that account with some how-to videos. I also started incorporating my characters into my videos, and a few of those went viral. But in the last 6 months, I have not seen any viral videos. And I'm okay with that because I had to learn the same thing I'm talking about right now all over again. That's what I'm saying. You're always learning this because you get these highs when you go viral. and you think that all of a sudden you've made it. But what you don't see is that you attracted a lot of people that weren't meant to go on your account. So now they're there expecting you to talk about that same thing you talked about in that viral video. And that's not all you talk about. So your other content doesn't get all the views because they're not there for that content. So I've really focused on, again, who am I helping? And what do they need from me? And a lot of times we as education coaches, trainers online, we get so wrapped up in the information and the tips that we forget we're talking to people and we are a person, and that's how we connect with people. So it's really about storytelling and every video being for a specific person so that you are attracting the right people. And these are the people that are most likely going to buy from you. If you're only going viral, you're going to get a bunch of randoms on your account. And unless you're going to create that same type of video every single time, which is that going to equal into sales? I don't think so, because you got to have a lot of different pillars in your content than just one category.
No, so true, so true. When we talk about the art of digital content creation and finding your niche, a lot of people don't understand how to find their niche. You spoke about, doing all the videos, the pointing the bubbles, things like that. How did you really set the intention for yourself to figure out what your niche is and how you wanted to help males and females in this digital content creation space?
When I first started, I really focused on being confident on camera, the language that you use, your body language. I still focus on those things. Mm-hmm. Now there are a lot more video coaches online because it's gotten really popular. I was doing it when I was on Instagram and I would search video coach. I'd be one of like 5 people that would pop up. Now there's so many, it's ridiculous. The Reels coaches, the social media video coaches that have truly never had video experience up until Instagram or TikTok. And that's fine, but that's not me. And that's not who I want to attract. Just like what we're having this conversation right now. I can tell you all the things to do so the algorithm is most likely to push your video out to mass amounts of people. But again, if all we're doing is focusing on mass amounts of people, we're not focusing on a specific person. So we're going to have a really watered down brand. And you have to know that if you want to have a brand that stands out, you can't be for everybody. So to answer your question, I started to really identify why I was different than all these coaches, these video coaches that were popping up. Well, I don't want to just go viral. And I'm in my late 40s. So I know that women my age are less likely to want to dance and point at text bubbles and do goofy things that would make them look silly. I'm not opposed to it, but not most of people my age would want to do that. I also know what her struggles are because I've gone through them myself. Showing up on a platform where you're one of the oldest people on there, that's intimidating. Knowing that you still have a voice that matters when you're that age, when you don't look like everybody else, that's hard to do. So I speak to those specific things. And I also speak about the struggles and the mistakes I've made in my past to let that woman know that she's not alone. I've done it too. It's okay. Learn from it. So it's really you figuring out, who do you want to attract? What have they gone through? What are they going through? And how can you speak to that to help them understand that you understand them and you've got the answer to their problems?
You speak about your age, right? So we're around the same age. I'm in my late 30s, things like that. And even in podcasts.
Well, I'm 47 and a half, so I'm older than you. But
around the same, you get what I mean. You get what I mean. But I like how you speak about age. And I feel like we can do anything it is that we want to do. Doesn't matter if you're early 20s, late 30s, early 40s, late 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever you want to do. When you decided to grab your phone, if you use a digital camera in the background, I see all the lighting systems and things like that. Did you really feel like this was going to be a home for yourself, or was it going to be something you were going to do prior to? Like maybe you had some other dream or some other job that you were doing?
Oh, Rory, you have no idea how I ended up creating this business in my laundry room. I was in television, like you mentioned, and this goes back to my ideal person, what we were talking about. I was one of those people that I thought if I could just keep impressing people and keep racking up the titles and promotions, I would finally find my self-worth. I would prove to the world that I was the somebody. And I ran myself into the ground. So at the age of 45, I was so miserable. I was drinking myself to sleep every night. I didn't even know who I was. I mean, yes, I could tell you I had a resume. I could tell you all the places I worked and the things that I did, but I didn't know what I really wanted or what I really liked. And so I stopped everything. And I started working on our house because I live in my husband's childhood home. And I started taking time. I got off social media altogether. I started taking time to ask hard questions, read a lot of books, and figure out, why don't I know who I am? Why did I do all those things that I thought were going to make me happy and they didn't make me happy? And who was the person before all this stuff got confusing? And that was the girl who played video and pretended to have commercials in her bathroom in front of the mirror. And I had characters and I did goofy things and I wasn't ashamed of it because I didn't even know what it meant to have people have an opinion about you back then. So I started playing. I knew that I really liked video and I knew a lot about it. And so I started testing on 2 platforms. I tested the educational stuff only on Instagram. I looked very news anchory because that's what my background mostly was. And then on TikTok, on that first account, I just started playing like the little girl in the bathroom back in the 80s. And it took a long time for me to figure out, and some coaches and some training, to figure out how to merge the 2 of them. I didn't have an intention of building a business when this started. It was really therapy. And when I started to see that other people could relate to things that I was talking about on the skits that I was doing on TikTok for the moms, and then on the few people at the time, because it wasn't cool to be on video at this time, people would ask me questions and I would answer. I wasn't charging anything. And then I eventually started to take on one-on-one clients. I started getting asked the same stuff. I was getting a pretty big following over on TikTok. I created a course and here we are. So I created the lifestyle that I never thought I wanted, but I created the one that I needed, and I'm the happiest I've ever been. It just took me so freaking long to figure it out.
Wow. That's, hey, resiliency, right?
Yeah.
So, I feel like there's those mistake aspects that a lot of content creators come into. You talk about your course, you talk about all that good stuff. What are the top 3 common mistakes you could speak to the audience, just as a little tidbit before we get into like the whole course outlook, that you see content creators make on TikTok, and how can they change that about themselves? Or even, it's not even TikTok, Instagram Reels, just content creation on its own.
One of them is that and I get it, I started with trends too, but one of them is that they only think that they can do trends because that's what the algorithm likes, because it's the easiest, because it's the least intimidating, because you literally can copy what somebody else has done and not have to think about it, which is sad because you're not using your creativity. Another one is they get on video or even a written post and they just talk about themselves. And you have to realize nobody cares until you've gathered enough of a following or you've got a unique voice. You have to make it about the person watching. Now, you can talk about yourself and still make it about the person watching. So you have to learn how to storytell because, like I said, yes, in the beginning, I did all tips all day because I was a nobody and I had to make it about the person. Then you start to learn how to weave in storytelling so that there's a piece of you in the content, even though it's valuable educational information. If you don't learn that, and you are just randomly talking about stuff that you want to talk about or talking about you, it's going to be hard to grow a following. You're going to see famous people who can get away with that, but they're famous. So people care about them already. They don't care about you when you show up as an unknown person.
Okay.
Is there a third one? Did I give a third one? Did I need to give a third one?
Masterclass City. This is what we are here with Virginia Kerr and things like that. When we think about courses, all right, and I feel like a lot of people want to create courses, health and fitness courses, Instagram Reel courses, whatever it is you want to do. How did you find that essential ability about yourself that you said, hey, listen, I want to make this intentional and I want to teach people how to level up their business and be able to create?
Well, first of all, I kept getting asked the same questions and I'm like, I could help a lot more people if I just had a place where they could learn all this. But that's so important that you start with the one-on-one so that you even know what people want. Then after I did that, I did a group training for, I think it was 10 women. And that really helped me see what they really cared about versus what they didn't care about before I went and created a course. And the beautiful thing about course creation is that it's your baby. You can make it whatever you want. You can change it, and you can reach and help a lot of people at the same time. And it's passive income. I mean, that course I created almost a year and a half ago, but I still change it. I'm still updating it, and I'm still paying attention to what people care about and what they don't care about, and adding and taking away from it. It was a beast though. It was really hard, and I kept pushing it off and pushing it off. Finally, one of my coach said, "You don't have to have the complete course done to launch it." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" So I, as a former reporter, I like deadlines, and I said, "Okay, so you give me the deadline as to when the first module has to be done. I will launch it, and then I will tell them that every Friday they get a new module." So that was a really hard 8 weeks, but I did it. And what was beautiful about that is that course is not exactly what it would have been had I not done it that way, because I really tailored it to the people who purchased the course when there was only one module.
Love that you say that too. So when we think about technology, and we think about our tech that we use, our devices, some people use iPhones, some people use Androids and things like that. How would you say to the audience to make this least cost effective? A lot of people want to go out, spend $1,000 to $1,500, $2,500, $4,000, $5,000 on all of this content creation stuff, cameras, phones, all these gizmos and gadgets. What is one thing you can tell them how to do to make it less cost effective for themselves, so they're not putting themselves in the hole?
Yes. Well, you use your phone. You use what you have. So if you want to start today, use your phone, go stand in front of a window where there's light on your face. So now you don't need a ring light, but you can get a ring light for $25 on Amazon. My first ring light was $25 on Amazon. I didn't have one in the very, very beginning, but you have to have something to hold your camera, because your videos, you want to have that flexibility to be able to demonstrate things. You don't want shaky video. I'm not saying you have to always have a tripod and a perfect setup, but you want to have that option. And again, ring light, $25. You can get a really good lavalier mic for $17. It's the Boya microphone, and it's got a long wire to it, and it can hook to your phone, so that when you're not in an environment where you're near your phone, as in within 3 feet, you've got the option to still have good sound. Because if people can't hear you, or you look dark and grainy, they're going to swipe. They're less likely to pay attention because you're making them work to see and hear. And the algorithm doesn't favor poorly lit videos either. Plus, you don't look professional when you always look like you're in a dark corner and we can't hear you. So those two things, again, you could get those for less than $40, but you don't have to have those to start. You really just need your phone.
I watched one of your videos and you spoke about the lighting, the natural lighting source. And I was so blown away about the plastic bag. And I didn't even think about that. I was like, yo, the plastic bag, like, did anybody ever think of that? So I'm going to tell people this, like, go check out Virginia's TikTok and her Instagram, because there's a lot of value there, a lot of free value. You know what I mean? Especially the plastic bag. I'm like, where can I go to a window and hang the plastic bag? You know what I mean? So find some creative ideas and make sure I give the shout out to you there too. Because I feel like a lot of content creators they may see ideas and things like that, but they never want to do the acknowledgement of shouting out the other person. You know what I mean? I see that on your Instagram. You shouted out one of those the big Instagram reelers. I can't remember. I think his name is Brock or something like that. And I like that you did that. You know, you give the acknowledgement. You know what I mean? As I say, and things like that. When we think about, before we hit the record button, we were talking about batch content creation and what does that look like for us? Now, for you, is it picking a day? Is it picking a couple days? Is it having all the week of your batch content creation out there so you just upload, put everything all together? What does that look like for you, and how can people learn from you?
Well, I don't like to batch, and I have I'm blessed with the fact that I can fit production time into my day every day. When I'm going to go on vacation, I will batch 3 to 4 reels and TikToks, maybe, or I just take my camera with me and I do it there. Because again, it doesn't have to be perfectly lit. And I most likely, what's going to happen is I might record 2 reels before I go on my trip next week. And then I'm going to probably do the rest in my car and just crank one out. Because again, we want to make sure people connect with us, not just for our information, but also for our stories and our opinions and our experiences. So I don't even know what I'm going to talk about, but I know that's what's going to happen. If I was to batch, what I would do is I would have all my topics. I never script, but I do bullet point. And I would have 3-4 shirts to change into so it doesn't look like you're wearing the same thing for an entire week. And I would crank out and record all of those, and then I would edit them on another day. Now, if you're doing trends, then, and you do the pointing to text bubble kind of thing, then you don't even have to know what your video is going to be about, and you just record it with your pointing to the text bubble, and you fill in the text bubbles later. I would highly encourage you to not depend on the drafts in Reels and TikToks to save all of your batched content before you post it, because there are glitches, and I can't tell you how many times I've heard someone who batched all this content, they saved it in the drafts, and it got deleted. So I always make sure that I save all of my videos to my phone before I post them.
Love that. See? Like I told you, masterclass. That's the reason why we're here. One of the last questions before we get out of here is about businesses. Now, nobody wants to necessarily, that I talk to, want to go on Instagram and promote their business, promote their clothing, whatever they're doing. They want to do it the old organic way. We both know you can't do that anymore, right? How important is it to use video, either Instagram Reels or TikTok, to highlight what it is you're wanting to showcase, how you can get your potential buyer, how you can get, reaping the rewards and things like that? Because we want to be paid for our craft. We want to be paid for the teachable services that we have. How important is it?
Well, I call it the Viagra to your marketing, because it can get someone to know, like, and trust you faster than any other type of content out there. There are people who, they don't only, but they primarily grow their accounts and business with carousel posts on Instagram, and that's fine. But you still want to pepper in video, because we get to see you, and hopefully, if you're not just doing trends, we get to hear you. And now we feel like we really know you, especially on live video. People feel like they're in the room with you when you do it the right way. And that the places where you're going to sell the most on Instagram, your stories, your live videos, and your DMs, because those are the 3 places where you can connect the most. On stories, it is not a traffic driver. You're not going to grow your following with stories, but that's where 99% of my sales come from, is stories. The video stories. And I don't just do video because you don't want to bore people either. There's a whole strategy behind Instagram stories. But you want to make sure that you are getting them in your stories, because if you get them into your stories, if they care enough about you to watch your random stories, but you also should have some intention behind them, then they're most likely going to be the ones that are going to buy from you. So why would you not talk about your offer? And you don't have to talk about your offer by pitching yourself all the time. That's why it's great to have video testimonials or written testimonials to show that you actually do get people the results you promise. And you take them behind the scenes. You show them your process so that they feel like they really know who you are and how you do what you do, and that you actually do what you say you do. Everything I teach in my course is exactly what I do. Because, and the other thing is, you want to make sure you're showing up on video as the person they're going to get if they were to hire you or buy your course. You don't want them to get in and be like, this is not the person I thought I was getting. So I make it very clear what my teaching style is like on my live videos. And I even show me critiquing people's videos on my Instagram account, because I want them to see that I don't sugarcoat. I'm a nice person, but I'm very direct. I'm going to tell you like it is so that you will have those results that you want.
So the last piece of conversation I want to bring is, what is your favorite app? Is it TikTok? Is it Instagram Reel? What is it? If you had to
Between those
judge
two,
between those two, is it Instagram Reels? Is it TikTok?
it's Instagram. I like the culture, most of the culture. There's a lot of stuff about TikTok I really don't like. But I like on TikTok how much of a variety you get and how people just show up. And there's such a variety in the type of people who are on TikTok. Instagram Reels clearly is behind TikTok. My prediction for 2022 is we will see a lot more original content on Instagram Reels, because right now, most of the content on Reels just trends. And I get bored with it because I see the same song over and over again, the same trend. I'm not hearing people actually talk. When I do trends on my account, they don't do well because my audience is used to getting the real me with my voice, my opinions, my characters sometimes. And that's why, again, I'm not for everybody. I teach people. I don't teach how to do trends. I mean, I give you the mechanics, but I really help you figure out who you are and how you can look different. And that's why I like TikTok. But why I like Instagram is because there are so many places on Instagram to connect with your audience. Sometimes someone doesn't want to see a video. They do want to see a carousel post. They want to be educated. They just want you to give them the tips really quickly. And visually, it's easier for them to digest and consume that information. On stories, we're able to be more random on stories. However, that's why you see a lot more variety on TikTok, because there's not stories. There are trends. Then there are the people that they just show up and talk, and they don't do fancy editing. They just talk. They treat TikTok like stories. But here's what we all know. Facebook, Instagram, they don't like to be second. I'm not saying they're going to beat TikTok, but what they do know, and they're already doing this, is there's a lot about TikTok business owners don't like. And they're leaning in on that, and they're taking that and running with it. You're already seeing it. You are seeing them say to you, we want to make sure that our app is exactly what you want it to be. We want to let you be the person to create the app and the experience that you want. Because on TikTok, we see a lot of garbage we don't want to see, that we shouldn't see, our kids shouldn't see. Now Instagram is saying, no. If you don't want to see a certain type of content or something that offends you, you let us know. And they're making sure that they're helping us with our sales. I mean, just recently, the head of Instagram said that he's going to make it so that we can have subscribers on Instagram, so that we can promote our content to people. Even if our reach is low, they will get notified that you are going live or you just posted something, and you can even charge them. And he said they're looking at ways to take that subscriber list off the platform onto another website. Hello, like your email list? No other app has ever offered that. Now, it hasn't happened yet. They're just now testing the subscriber concept or subscription concept. But TikTok's not doing that. I'm not saying they won't, but I just see Instagram really stepping up because they see how they've lost a lot of people over to TikTok. And like I said, there's a lot about TikTok that I'm not a fan of.
No, and I hear you, and that's the thing. I feel like that app, and I'll say it, it's over sexualized to a degree, as far as like a lot of the dances and the health and fitness, and that's a whole other topic for another day. And I'll say this, I think between Facebook and Instagram, I feel like once they come up with the update that they're going to be doing, I think it's going to change the game on a lot of things. Right, you see it with social audio, with Clubhouse and Spotify, Green Room, and all these different apps. We already know, everybody knows the juggernaut, the alpha male of the species is Clubhouse. But I feel like once Facebook comes into this space, everybody's gonna have to change up. And if you don't change up, you're just gonna, and that's game over.
Yeah,
You're just gonna drown in the water, right? So. No, I like that. And I feel like the biggest thing is the monetization aspect. I feel like we didn't really get into that, but so many people get into this content creation age to want to get monetized from the jump. They want a shortcut. Can't do it. Me and you both know this. You cannot do it. That's why I'm taking so long to create my course. You know what I mean? Because I want it to be tailor-made to the right people. You know what I mean? So when we get into this content creation aspect, right? If it's shooting these videos and sponsorship and this and that, you got to put the work in. Got to put the reps in. You know what I mean? And not too many people want to do that. They want a shortcut. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's just how life is.
it hurts you so much when you take the shortcut. You don't really push through the fear and figure out how video is going to work for you. Because if I had not done that on TikTok, and I had a lot of mistakes and embarrassing moments, I wouldn't have jumped on Reels the day it launched. And if I had not done that, I wouldn't have grown my business. I mean, it was all God, but my course launched a week or 2 weeks after Reels. And very few people were doing Reels, but man, I was showing up every single day with them because I had already gone through that awkward stage and that fear. Not that I don't still go through it, but I was ready for it. I didn't hold back and think about it. I was ready for it. And you will be ready for it, for that next platform, for that next feature, for that next update on that app, when you just start doing it now and realize that it's always going to change. There's always going to be a new flashy app and a new flashy feature. So go ahead and get the dirty work done now so you're ready for it.
Absolutely. Well said, Miss Virginia Kerr. Where can everybody check you out, right? Get in contact with your courses, see all your content, things like that. And what's one of the biggest things you're looking to complete for 2022?
I am working on adding more modules to my course because you get lifetime access. And my thought is, as people grow with video, they want to try new things with video. So I'm on YouTube. So I'm going to start working on a module for YouTube on there, and possibly even webinars and course creation. I haven't decided. What YouTube is my next one. So it is not one of those courses where you just learn how to do a TikTok or you just learn how to do a Reels. I take you through all the tutorials of that and how I do it and the apps that I use to edit my videos. But I also give you the strategy and the behind the scenes and why this stuff makes sense and where you should be putting these types of videos and what to say and how to say it. So that's what that is for. And it's been really fun because I have people who joined when it first launched and they're still with me through I do challenges every other month too. And it's just fun because we've built a community. It's like a family.
Love that. Now, where can everybody check you out also too?
This is Virginia Kerr, Kerr, and it's the same on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and my podcast.
I love it. And what's the name of your podcast? Let me check it out. Let's get some subscribers over there. Let's get some listens.
This is Virginia Kerr, the podcast.
All right, perfect. Well, Virginia, I appreciate you and everything you stand for. We'll stay in touch and keep rocking on creating your content.
Thank you. This was so fun.